Hello and welcome everyone to episode 10 of the Bunnies BZCast. I'm your host Randy. This is again the bunnies.com official podcast, just labeling that now. You can find this podcast on youtube.com, on soundcloud.com, and on iTunes under the podcast section. I'm recording this on October 30th, 2015. By the time you guys hear this, we will be into November, which means we'll have our new issue, which comes out on the first of every month. Really looking forward to that. It's a special issue about disabled bunnies, and I think those are going to be really awesome, nice stories. The featured rescue of the November 1st issue is Happy Hearts Rescue. So remember to please consider donating if you have, a spare dollar or two to donate. It's greatly appreciated. It all adds up. We are really happy with the current downloads of the special Bunny Ween issue in October, where we had Nick Knickerbocker on the cover. That has went over 200 downloads, and there's a lot of money being donated to the rescue. So, wanted to definitely thank you guys. That was a nice boost, and keep it going, keep us growing, keep it going strong. I love it. Social media, of course, on Facebook, as most of you know, we are on Bunnyzine, just Bunnyzine on Facebook. We are at official Bzine on Twitter, at official Bunnyzine on Instagram, and official Bzine on Periscope. Again, we try to do about a Periscope broadcast about once a week on average. So look for another one maybe tomorrow night or something on Halloween. Happy Halloween, happy late Halloween, because you guys will hear this after Halloween. So I hope you guys all had a fun time. If you guys dressed up your bunnies, you should definitely share those pictures of your bunnies on the House Rabbit group pages, on your own Facebook pages. Those are really cool to see. Going back to Nick, I saw some sad news in the last 24 hours about the Knickerbocker little white cuddly bun. His bunny parent, John, found some lumps. Close to 10 lumps. He's already had skin cancer surgery and glaucoma, so he had an eye removed. I feel so terrible for that bunny. It's a gut-wrenching story, but we at Bunnyzine, I personally hope for the best for Nick. We love the page. We love seeing him. We love seeing Nick. The best of health to Nick. Best of luck to you, John, if you're listening. So today's episode, we are back to having a guest. Episode 9 was my tribute episode for my Rainbow Bridge Bun Milo. It is really long. I get choked up and emotional throughout it. But if you guys do want to listen to it, for this one episode, I do recommend the YouTube video for this episode, because it provides a lot of pictures of Milo in the middle of, throughout the YouTube video. And there's links of Milo, like, doing goofy stuff. That I have uploaded on my personal YouTube page. So you guys can check out those links and get to witness what I was talking about in that episode. Today's episode, we do have a guest. Her name is Jennifer Smith. She is one of the co-founders of Bunny Besties. If you don't know what Bunny Besties is, you guys are gonna learn what it is. I'm really looking forward to this. Bringing in my guest, Jennifer Smith. Jennifer, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Randy.
Oh, no problem. Just give us like a short rundown of what Bunny Besties is.
Bunny Besties is a group of volunteers that have come together and pet huggers, registered therapy rabbits, and we travel around Minneapolis and St. Paul and Minnesota volunteering. Right now there's currently 17 volunteers I have 8 registered Pet Partners Therapy rabbits, and then I have the registrations on them, and then my son does too. And then there's girls from the University of Minnesota specifically that have joined us, and they are getting Pet Partners registered with my rabbits. So when we travel out, we've got a big group of volunteers, both 2-legged and 4-legged.
Oh, wow. What, I didn't have this topic written down, but what goes into, like, a registration for a therapy animal?
Excellent question. So Pet Partners is actually the most prestigious registration for therapy animals in the United States and Canada. And they're the ones that are usually allowed to go into the facilities like hospice or a children's hospital or universities. And the bunnies actually have to run through the same rigmarole and testing and education process as any dog or horse or, whatever kind of therapy animal Pet Partners would certify. They have to do the exact same things.
Okay. So you got to give us a little bit of background. Well, no, before I go into the background, for someone who just doesn't know, I think a lot of us do have kind of an understanding, but a lot of us that don't, give us a little bit of a generic definition of animal therapy.
Animal therapy. So, for example, say that you were just somebody that put your pet into a stroller and went up to the nursing home just to spend some time, walking around and visiting with residents at a nursing home. You'd be somebody who's kind enough to take your pet, and you'd be, visiting and doing some good right there in your community. Being a registered therapy animal actually takes it a bit farther because we have each animal with its handler working as a team. We have harnesses and leashes on them. We keep them in pet beds, and they actually come with $2 million worth of liability insurance. God forbid anything was to happen. We also have extensive training and in animal-assisted interactions and, allowing that to happen and bringing some real therapeutic value into the facilities that we go into.
Okay. So you kind of spoke with the leashes and what kind of goes on as far as the beginning process. So these bunnies, cats, dogs, but talking bunnies specifically in this show, what goes into training a bunny therapy, a therapy bunny?
That's a really great question. And people actually ask me that a lot because my passion specifically is turning rescued rabbits from rescue organizations that have had some really bad situations, turning them into therapy rabbits. And I really believe in my heart that rescued rabbits are so grateful for their second chance. They are so appreciative to have the work and to have the love and the affection. So usually, I start out getting bunnies that people would probably say, oh, this rabbit could never, ever be a therapy rabbit, because it's got these behavior problems or post-traumatic stress disorder from their rescue situation. But, we just start out and, we, take the time just to show them that they can trust us again. Lots of tender, loving care, lots of holding, lots of picking up, and kind of work through that for at least 6 months to a year. I think personally, I feel that therapy rabbits should really be 1 year old after they've kind of gotten through that teenage time. I don't know, most people probably understand what I'm talking about, but they kind of go through that sexual maturity phase from 3 months to about 10 months, and they can be a little bit more unpredictable. So I really feel like the best therapy rabbit usually starts at about a year, and, you've just really got to work really hard every day, sitting them in the pet bed, getting them to do things like, rabbits continually, their guts are moving and they're continually using the bathroom. So you want to make sure one of the things is that you train them by sitting them in a pet bed each day and petting them and making sure that they can extend their time of holding going to the bathroom. Because, of course, nobody wants the rabbit to be, excreting while they're visiting. So that's one of the biggest challenges is actually just, so it's a kind of a threefold process because number one, you're picking them up, you're holding them, and you're petting them, and then also you're training them to hold going to the bathroom. like currently, I would say, well, all 8 of mine, they know once they get their harness on and their leash and they're in their pup bed that they behave in a certain way and that they do not go to the bathroom. So we make sure every 15 minutes that they get a bathroom break, so they go back into the litter box inside the carrier, get some minutes to kind of decompress, go to the bathroom, and then you pull them out and they're ready to work again.
Wow,
so that's one example.
Yeah, no,
the other thing that we also do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that was some pretty detailed like training that a bunny. You know, a lot of people don't think that a bunny can like learn something like that, but that's really like
exactly
detailed like organized like training.
Yeah, it's actually like there's some real thought process into it, and it's funny because they have so many people that are like, Jennifer, start writing this stuff down, and you know, I don't know why I haven't done it, but there are specific things that I'm really thinking about and doing to make sure that these rabbits are successful when they go to these places. And what I've created and, you know, the process that I've gone through of training the rabbits and training my handlers, the places that we go to are just so thrilled because they're just like these cute little, they're like a little teddy bear sitting on your lap with a heart and a soul. You know, so it's just beyond precious.
Oh, I bet. So when you guys do visits, where do you guys take some of where do you guys take some of these therapy buns?
Well, today, actually, this afternoon, there were 6 of us, and we went to a Alzheimer's unit, Meadow Woods, here in Minneapolis, and they have 3 floors of Alzheimer's units, and so first floor is like the lowest level functioning, a little higher functioning on the second floor, and then the third floor is a lot of hospice patients. And so the girls just did amazing working with, you know, their specific rabbit of the Bunny Besties group. And it was just amazing because you can really see, one of the things that we found in Alzheimer's units is that the larger the animal, sometimes it would trigger fear in the Alzheimer's patient.
Okay.
So what they're finding in these Alzheimer's units is that they're really loving the rabbits because there's no sense of intimidation. You know, the rabbits love being in that environment because it's calm and it's quiet and they just get massages. And then on top of it, the residents get to hold them in their laps inside of the pet bed and just pet them and just feel how soft their fur is. And it's really quite amazing. And our hostess, Jessica, she had said to me, Jennifer, literally some of these people that are here never smile. Never smile at all. But when you come in, I mean, they're beaming. Their smiles, their whole spirit lights up, and you can see it on their face. But they just come alive again. And it was interesting because we were there, I guess, about 3 weeks ago. And there was a woman up on the hospice floor, and they're so sweet there. They bring all of their patients in, they're dressed, their hair is done. She's laying back in like a wheelchair that's kind of like a wheelchair bed. And they said to me, oh, you know, Iris, she's been completely unresponsive for a few months. And she's only got a couple weeks to live. She is on hospice. And I said, well, just spend some time with her. And so I took her hand and started petting my rabbit Paisley, you know, on the top of the head. And I looked at the director and I said, she's moving her hand with me. She said, no, she's not. She's unresponsive. I said, okay, you know, maybe I was just making it up. I don't know. So we keep petting, and then she starts to lift her other hand up and puts it on the bunny's head. And then the director was like, oh, my gosh, she really is interacting. And so then I'm trying to hold both of her hands, you know, because she didn't have good control of her hands. And so helping her to navigate petting Paisley. And then all of a sudden we start hearing her try to talk. We couldn't make out what she was saying, but she was trying to talk. Her eyes were still closed. And we look over, and she's smiling.
That's so incredible. I mean, that's...
obviously, she's still there.
Oh, for sure. She definitely it seems like she definitely understands what's going on. And I've said it...
She isn't as unresponsive as we thought.
Exactly. It also speaks to the power of, you know, the calmness and the kind of like
of the rabbit.
Yeah, and the aura that rabbits have around them. When you're around them, you're kind of like in a, you know, more of a happier state. and for that to have that kind of effect on unresponsive Alzheimer's, correct?
Yes, Alzheimer's, yes.
Yeah.
The Alzheimer's unit, 3 floors. Yeah, it was unbelievable. And she was, Alzheimer's is such a sad disease because it takes the people, that sometimes have healthy bodies, and it takes a very slow process. But it still is a terminal illness, and they just go deep inside of themselves. And I'm finding that there is something about these sweet, tiny little rabbits that brings out the soul of the person. Today there was another woman, and she just, absolutely adores the rabbits. And she's like, please come back, please come back. And so when we're walking out, Jessica, our host, said, I want for you to know that Meredith, she used to be a rockette at Radio City Music Hall. And we would just all just sit there like, oh my Lord, sort of like look at these people that are like, at these end stages of their life with Alzheimer's disease, and to think, you were a rockette, like you were something so great that we all watch at Christmas time, and let's not forget you. Let's not forget you,
Yeah. No, that's like, that's like that's one of those stories that you would, like a news story, like one of those uplifting news stories that you would see like on your local news channel, and it would just put a smile on your face.
Put a smile on your face. There was another one there today too. So when we visit on the second floor, there's a man and a woman that sit next to each other, and I think they've been married like 60 years. But anyway, he holds her hand, and so the girls, some of the new girls that volunteered with us today, they were like, what is the story there? And I said, well, the story is that she has Alzheimer's, and he doesn't, and he is completely healthy. But he's been married to her for like 60 years, and he loves her, and he doesn't want for her to be afraid. So he moved in to live with her. And they sit together, and they just love on the rabbits, and just to watch him see her interact with the bunny, and that she's so happy for that split second, it lights up his face too. It's just the most precious thing. I'm like, okay, this is true love. I get to actually see this.
No, that's incredible. That's that's like
It's like the Notebook from Nicholas Sparks.
Yeah, I'm trying. It seriously reminded me of like a I want to like a romantic movie, like a love story movie.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet. So these are the things that I feel like, by coming in and volunteering my time, that I'm gifted to be able to like be in the presence of these people that have had these great lives and are good people. And it's just sad that they're slipping away from a terminal illness. And a lot of them don't get a lot of attention. Their families are, have their own issues with the illness, and it makes them sad. So we go in and we bring a little bit of joy, So it's a privilege. It's just such a privilege.
Well, it's a really amazing cause, and you pretty much like answered this question already. It was more so like, what kind of reactions do you guys get when someone just pets a bunny or holds a bunny? But that's pretty amazing stuff. So I don't even have to ask that.
But wherever we go to the University of Minnesota every Wednesday, and they have a bunny room, and it's a meditation room, and we watch the bunnies, and then we do one-on-one handling, and the kids there are just like, the bunny room is the greatest thing ever, and we're the only college campus in probably, we know, in the country that is doing this with a bunny room. And the kids, they're just like coming in droves. We had to like move to a larger conference room, and because the numbers were so overwhelming, but they're just happy, and we found that the number 2 cause of death at the University of Minnesota is actually suicide. So this is one of those programs where they're trying to work to combat that. And the kids just come in, and they're just so happy just to sit and watch these rabbits.
Yeah.
And then, they're so thrilled if the rabbit actually comes up and like takes a crayfish out of their fingers. They're just like, oh my gosh, the bunny chose me. So that's, so then we've got the elderly that are so excited, and we've got young adults that are so excited. And then we're at People Serving People Homeless Shelter, which is the largest family-focused homeless shelter in the Midwest. And we go there, and the children who have left their pets behind, who are in very high-stress environments, usually fleeing from domestic violence. And, they're still trying to do their homework and just be happy little kids. And we bring the bunnies in and do a reading program with them. And we have actually gotten this population reading books and sitting down every night and practicing so that they can come back the next week and read with their bunny again. So across the board, bunnies are the bomb. Let's just say bunnies are the bomb.
No, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it just speaks to how many lives and how many different kinds of people, like literally everybody. I mean, a bunny.
Yes, that's what we're finding. Yeah.
A bunny can have any positive effect to any living human being. It's just incredible.
It's incredible. And I think the special thing, dogs are so wonderful and cats are so wonderful. I'm such an animal lover. The difference, though, with the bunnies is that they have, like, a sense of when they're needed in a different kind of way. They can sense things. And I know dogs and cats sense, but I really see a difference with the rabbits. And I think it's because they're earthy animals and they're well connected and their senses are very strong, that they're able to really sense when, something is different or if somebody needs a little bit more attention. For example, I'll give you an example, which I have many of them, but we were at the homeless shelter two weeks ago, and a woman stopped me, and she said, please, in the lobby, can I hold the bunny? And I was like, sure, sit down, and I'll get the harness and leash on, and I'll sit up. Well, the bunny kind of jumped up a little bit and gets behind the pet bed and snuggles in, like, right against her belly, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's never done that. What is he doing, And so I'm going to pick him up, and she grabs my hand, and she says, no. She says, I haven't told anyone that I'm pregnant, and I'm living here and I'm pregnant, and I feel really happy about it.
Wow.
Maybe he knows that. And I was like, whoa, whoa.
Well, yeah, that's a whoa moment.
I was like, okay, the bunny can stay there with you. I just was like, okay, So that was her connection. She said nobody knows that I'm pregnant, but I'm pregnant, and I'm here, and, he must know that I'm so happy. And I was just like, oh my gosh, maybe he does, I don't know,
No,
but I'd never seen him do that before.
That's crazy. My personal story, I think I've told it on this show before. I think one time, I had some kind of infection, like, on my finger that I think I got from work. I work around, like, a lot of steel, dirt, dust, and all that, and, I had to get it, like, swelled up, like, ballooned up, and I had to get, like, antibiotics, but it just hurt.
Yeah,
it was just
finger
one of those,
infections are terrible.
Yeah. It was just one of those little infections. It was just, like, a long day because I had to go to the doctor's office, and it still hurt. And it took, like, a couple of days to heal. I don't know, like a week or two to heal. But when I came home that night, I just wasn't feeling that good. And I had this large bandage wrapped around it, and I'm taking medicine. And I lay down next to my Milo. And he just kind of looks at me and hops over and starts, like, licking my face.
Exactly.
Which, like, bunny kisses were normal with him, but he kind of, like, flopped and did it. Like, flopped facing me, and then was like, here, let me lick your face. And it was just, I just gave him a hug, and I'm just like, yeah, he knows.
He knows, exactly. You have hit it right on the head. He knows. And that's what I find with rabbits, is that they have a knowing or a scent.
I talked to you before the episode about anything that you would want to promote coming up, any events, fundraisers, etc.
Yes.
You told me about something coming up, so the mic is
yours.
yours.
We have something coming up. I just thought of it actually in the past couple of days. So last year at the University of Minnesota, every week there was a group of girls that would come, and they would spend the full 2 hours with us. And we grew, and like a friendship grew, and a bond grew. And this was a group of girls that would not have been friends in any other circumstance. And I think each and every single one of them was looking for their place to belong in this huge campus. And so fast forward to this year, they are joining me, volunteering with Bunny Besties. Like today, there were 4 of them that went to the Alzheimer's unit and volunteered, and I mean, they were phenomenal. So we want to get all of them pet partners registered, and it's $100 per student. And, they're poor students, so coming up with $100 right now is almost impossible. So we're going to do a little fundraiser just to raise a few $100 so that we can come up with the funds to get these girls, volunteering with us, reaching out in the community. Jessica today, who was our host today at the Alzheimer's unit, said to me, Jennifer, I'm just so profoundly grateful. She said, the girls that you bring, they genuinely care and are looking at these patients and wanting to be here. And I'm just so impressed that these young people are so altruistic. And I just thought, oh my goodness, we've got to figure out a way to make this happen. And so they were like, we could sell hats, we could do t-shirts, we could do a GoFundMe account. So we're going to be coming up with something this weekend, to make this happen for them. So they warm my heart. They're just special people, and they're already doing so much good in our community. So I hope that some people will be able to maybe support us.
No, that's awesome. So people should stay tuned to your website and social media pages to help
when
out.
It comes out. Yeah, to help out, because I mean, they're just wonderful. They've started with volunteering as the Bunny Room at the University of Minnesota has grown to incredible capacity. We had to move to the large conference room where they teach yoga classes and do the flu clinic. And these girls literally are at the corner at the front of Wilton Health Services where we hold this, and they're waiting for me to help me unpack the car, get everything in. They work the whole time and volunteer, and then they help me to get everything out and packed into the car and out the door again. They're just so dedicated, and I just would do anything to make this happen for them. So anyone that could support us in this little GoFundMe, I would just be so appreciative.
Awesome. There was, like I informed you before the episode, there is one fan question, but I did have one particular question before we get to the fan question.
Okay.
What do you think the future of Bunny Besties looks like? Do you guys see yourself growing as far as volunteers? Do you guys see yourself going to more places, or adding any other locations?
Yes. So Bunny Besties is just a dream come true for me, honestly. A little backstory on me is I have very serious lung disease, and I spend a lot of time at Mayo Clinic, and I'm disabled from work. And for so long, I had looked, I felt sad that I had lost my corporate career and all of these things that felt so important to me at the time. And I found my meaning and joy and my purpose in life again in Bunny Besties and the work that I do. And if I'm under the weather, doctors are saying, Jennifer, you can't, get out and do it. I still go because there's such a sense of joy inside of me with the work that I'm doing. So about 1 year ago, July, my son and I, we decided just to start it up, to come under the name of just Bunny Besties, which is bunny friends. We've got 4-legged bunny friends and 2-legged bunny friends. And let's start, we want to go into the homeless shelter where nobody's going to be, going, because people get afraid to go to a homeless shelter. And we're going to go to the Alzheimer's units, and, we're going to start a program here and there. And so it was just him and I working for the last year, and I tried so hard to get people to volunteer, and they were like, oh, I'm not really comfortable at the homeless shelter, or, I'm not really comfortable with, elderly people dying, and so it really didn't work out. So we kept going to the University of Minnesota, and then all of a sudden, with a whole lot of heart, people started joining in with us and saying, gosh, we're watching what you're doing, because I'd say, well, last year at the shelter, Gunnar and I gave out over 600 books to homeless children, and we gave out over 600 bunnies so that they had somebody read their new book to.
Oh.
And so now, with this working so hard and trying to make this grow, and I kept thinking to myself, no one's going to join us to move, are we ever going to get volunteers? And God willing, people have started to show up and are now side by side and feel so passionate about it with us. And so we're only, a year and 4 or 5 months into it, and so now we've got 17 volunteers, and we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, a dozen pet partners registered therapy rabbits. And so my hope is, my dream, my own personal dream is that we move into a place where we're becoming, a nonprofit, a 501(c)(3). We've got, ways to support running a 501(c)(3). We're going to even more places. Currently we've got 4 nursing homes that we visit on a regular basis. We've got an entire reading program at People Serving People Homeless Shelter, where we've created the Bunny Room, which is the first one in the country, at the University of Minnesota. And then we go, here and there to libraries, hospitals, that sort of thing. But I just hope that this continues to grow, and that, I would love to see that this isn't like a niche thing, that people go, oh, well, rabbits, I've never heard of a therapy rabbit. I hope that it's like, oh yeah, there's bunnies here too. There isn't just dogs or cats or horses. That rabbits become, a standard in the animal-assisted interactions in pet therapy world. I just hope that this grows so much, and that people all over the country, all over the world feel inspired to just be like, I can take my rabbit, work with them, and we become a team. And we get registered, and then we're going out and changing lives right in our community. That's my hope. That's my dream.
I'm looking forward to watching you guys grow. I think it definitely can happen. You guys have definitely made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. Just going by these incredible stories. That's just stuff I didn't imagine hearing when I scheduled you. When we were going emailing back and forth for setting up this recording. So no, that's pretty awesome, and we're definitely behind you and willing you on, try to will you on to reach those goals.
Yeah, I hope so. It's just a dream. But I can't even imagine, just for silliness, like when I started the Bunny Besties Facebook page, I was like, if I get 100, because at the time, what prompted me was in the June, a year and a half ago, I Googled therapy rabbits, and nothing came up. I mean, you can Google just about everything, and something comes up. Absolutely nothing came up. And now you Google therapy rabbits, and a gazillion images come up, and all of these articles, and I'm like, this is so phenomenal. Like, this is people are doing this, and this is happening right here in our communities. People are able to go down the street from their house and visit the forgotten, those that are not in the mainstream. And people are changing lives. I just feel like bunnies and people, don't underestimate when you put the two together what can happen. And I just hope that others are inspired to do it too, because it makes a huge difference.
Yes, it definitely does. So before we close out, there is one fan question. I'm really sorry to the person that wrote it in the Facebook comment. I'm apologizing ahead of time because I'm going to mess up your name. Heike Bishop Auto. Are bunnies too fragile for bunny therapy, and is there worry about them being dropped or jump off? And to add to this, no criticism at all from my end, but it's another. I heard you guys mention the harnesses and the leashes.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are kind of like 50-50 on rabbits wearing them. So I just wanted to get your take on that question and the harnesses and the leashes.
Okay, so you want me to answer the fan question first, or the harnesses and the leashes?
You could go with the fan question and answer it all at once. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really great question, because bunnies are fragile, and can get hurt easily. We talk about kids, grabbing at them, and they can be dropped, after Easter and break their legs and all of those kind of things. When someone goes out, there has to be best practices for any kind of animal whatsoever in any sort of situation. And that's what I really like about pet partners, is that they have very, very strict guidelines. For example, they have for all animals a 2-hour limit on how long they can work. You can only go out for 2 hours a day instead of just like going out and, going to a pet fair and starting in the morning and keeping them out for 8 hours. It's not okay. So that's one of the things that I really like about pet partners. We actually have found, though, that for rabbits, that we never go above 1.5 hours because they just get really tired. And the feeling is that I have come to the conclusion of is, when you're petting a dog or a horse, there's a lot more real estate there. They're bigger. Somebody might just pet their ears, but they're not going to pet them from the tip of their nose all the way down to the tip of their tail, right?
Yeah.
Just because they don't. But with bunnies, literally, the people want to touch them from the tip of their nose all the way down to the tip of their tail. They want to run their hand all the way down their soft fur. That is a lot of love for a tiny little vessel to take in that is so sensitive anyway. So we usually try to keep it at maximum an hour and a half, but usually at about an hour and 15 minutes, and they get breaks all along the way. They do, too. I've seen how other people do it, and it doesn't fall into my best practices. We have really fancy, nice, sturdy pet beds that they sit in so that when they're in the pet bed, they actually feel like they're on the ground because rabbits like to feel like they've got all 4 feet firmly planted, and they like to feel safe with something, solid foundation underneath them. So we keep them inside of the pet bed, and, we've got one arm holding the pet bed and one arm holding, on top of the rabbit. People often say, oh, can I pull it out and can I hold it? No. No, you can hold it in its pet bed. That's where it's most comfortable. First and foremost, every single one of my rabbits comes first, and the person that we're visiting, comes second. So the welfare of the rabbit is, of the utmost importance. And if I go to a place where I feel like that is not being respected, we don't go back.
Okay.
Does that answer the question, or?
No, it definitely does. It definitely does. You guys have, you guys take it, obviously, I mean, I knew it from your stories that you guys obviously take it very safely, or seriously. And now you guys also have safe precautions to make sure that the bunnies are okay.
Exactly. Like literally, if something was to happen to one of my rabbits because we did something stupid, I would be so devastated. I mean, we literally have to put me in the psych ward because I'd be crying nonstop. It just cannot happen. So we take all of these precautions ahead of time. We're thinking about it. Even today we did kind of debriefing on each floor. I got the girls together and I was like, okay, you've got your rabbit harnessed and leashed. You've got them in the pet bed. You've got your hands on top of them. If the rabbit starts getting nervous or uncomfortable, because sometimes, Alzheimer's patients, they can be, sometimes you have to help them on how your rabbit likes to be pet. So, we approach each person. We're like, would you like to visit with my bunny? See what they say. Sometimes they say no. Sometimes they say yes. And then you say, okay, I'm going to kneel down here next to you. Would you like to put the rabbit in the pet bed on your lap? And then, then we take it to them. And then they'll say, let me tell you how my rabbit likes to be pet. Because each of them likes to be pet in a different way. So let me, show you how my rabbit likes to be pet. And then if they see that the person, for whatever reason, for their health, maybe they got, one man today seemed almost like he had Parkinson's disease, because his hands were so shaky.
Yeah.
So I saw Claire, and we walked over, and I said, let's try to help him. Or Iris, that was laying back and was, completely unresponsive. She didn't have very good control of her hands. So for the safety of my rabbit, I help her, and I help her with her hands and the movement. And if it's not working, the rabbit comes first, and we step away and, move on to someone else. The welfare of the animal always has to come first. Always.
What is the exact use, so the people that might, kind of question it, for the leash and the harnesses?
Absolutely. But, I have to be honest with you. Pet partners, to be pet partners registered and to come in with a $2 million worth of liability insurance, there are certain guidelines that have to be followed. All animals within pet partners have to have a harness and a leash on. That is not only to protect the people that we're visiting, but it's to protect the the animal itself. So, for example, I'm just going to throw some, this never happened, but say that we went to Children's Hospital, and the kids in the cancer ward were so excited to see the rabbits that they started to, squeal and get excited, okay? So just pretend that I'm just holding a bunny in my arms, all right? There's no pet bed, there's no harness and leash, and all of a sudden the rabbit starts to hear squealing, and I'm so excited to see bunnies. And the rabbit gets jittery and goes and jumps out of my arms. Well, my precautions are that I put into place are a pet bed, a harness, and a leash. So then, you've got this, pretend you've got this animal that you were just holding, a pet, and it jumps out of your arms, and then what is it doing? Running down the hallway in the cancer ward, which isn't safe for, the doctors, the staff that's working there. It's not safe for the children, and it definitely 100% is not safe for the rabbit. So to me, the harness and the leash is probably the most important thing that you have as a working tool for you and the rabbit. So this is actually a big conundrum for me that I've been working on because I feel so strongly about it, because they really do not sell harnesses for rabbits in any of the stores. They'll have things for they'll have dog harnesses, they'll have cat harnesses, kitten harnesses, those type of things, but they're really made for other animals. And the thing about bunnies is that they're so diverse. Their shapes are different, their lengths are different, all of it is all different. So I really struggled with, the H harnesses that are out there, the kitten harnesses, that are kind of what the go-to that people are using. And, they're fine. But I wasn't finding that my rabbits were feeling safe and secure in those harnesses. So I went on a mission last winter and decided that I was going to take sewing classes. I was going to learn how to make the best harness for my therapy rabbits that could possibly be bought. So I'm a big proponent on the ones that I'm wearing, but those regretfully are not out on the market. But I'm really concerned about, some of the harnesses, what happens when, around their neck, and if they can get their legs twisted, all of those kind of things. So I think that the therapy harness and the leash is actually the most important thing that you could have on a rabbit. And I love the pictures of Beatrix Potter, who wrote Tale of Peter Cottontail.
Yeah.
And you can see pictures of her, back in 1900, and she even knew, she was so forward-thinking with rabbits, that she had them on harnesses and leashes. And, obviously somebody had to make them, but she knew that it was the right thing to do as well. I just really hope that, my hope is that people understand that it's to protect the animal, and I know, because, on my own page, when I post these, that I've worked so desperately hard on making them the best that they can be. People have attacked me saying, that I'm cruel and all those kind of things. And I try to explain to them, number one, I could not be Pet Partners registered if I did not have my animal harnessed and leashed for their own protection, number one. But number two, what I try to explain to them is that my rabbits are trained to wear these, and literally their whole entire demeanor changes when you put their vest on, because they're like, oh, I'm working. I'm in my pet bed. I'm working, So long answer, I'm sorry. It's something that I have really struggled with too, because I feel like there is not a really great product out there made for rabbits that you can buy. I really don't. So I'm just looking forward to the future where, rabbit therapy and rabbits being an animal-assisted interactions and, being registered with these large groups that, they'll start saying, rabbits are not like dogs and cats. Rabbits are unique and special, and we really need to, jump on the bandwagon of getting the best thing for them that, that they can use to be successful in their work. I'm really passionate about this. Really passionate.
No, I could definitely tell.
So I think it's a great question.
No, I could definitely tell. And yeah, it's just a topic that it's just one of those that people argue with each other amongst the bunny community. And I don't know if you know the Big Bang Theory, or the Big Bun Theory. It's like Penny, Sheldon, and Leonard. Popular Facebook bunny page. I saw Leonard on a leash, and the person, it was London on a leash, and it was just like in their grass in their yard, and he was on a harness, so, it went around his chest, and and he's like a bigger one. He looks kind of like a Flemish giant, and the person in the video, their bun parents preference the video with the words, in the top, in the description of the video, saying, this is just so, the safety of Leonard, so he doesn't hop away and blah, blah, blah. But, people...
Absolutely, I'm totally on track with them, yes.
And but that's the thing when it comes to the conversation between leashes and harnesses, is that they felt the need to have to explain that, because they just know, and even people in the comments were, we're just kind of being sarcastic about it, and being, kind of being trollish about it in the comments.
Yes.
About
mean.
how that's wrong.
Yeah.
And how, that comes with any social media. But,
exactly.
But on how, that's such a wrong thing to do, and to me, if you're there and someone is being, right there to handle any situation, and, being observant, and, just being there right next to them while they're, on the leash and the harness, and in your case, it's definitely for the safety of both parties, really. The bunny, obviously, and, the people that the bunny is visiting.
Exactly. Well, for these people that you just used as the example outside, I commend them, absolutely commend them for having their rabbit on a harness and a leash. In California, I do know that they have problems with small dogs and cats being lifted, by coyotes or birds of prey. Here in Minnesota, it's birds of prey that, they can come and be lifted right off of the ground. If you have your rabbit on a harness and leash, you can pull, but if there's nothing, they're just like easy prey outside.
Yeah.
It actually, I just really feel like this is probably another topic for a podcast. I think this is such an important thing to educate people onto, now we wouldn't even have the conversation about having dogs on leashes. But I can remember, 20 years ago when I was a teenager, people didn't really worry about taking their dogs and walking them on leashes. But now we know that it's better, and we have leash laws. Not only does it protect the dog, but it protects the people around the dog and the person walking the dog. And so I don't know why we are not forward thinking like that with the safety of rabbits and the safety of the people around them. I really feel, in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, that the people that are fighting against the harnesses and leashes are really doing rabbits a disservice, because it's a safety issue. Just for example, I've got my Mr. Mini Cooper. He was like lightning bolt fast. And if I was to take him outside, which he doesn't go outside, but if I was to take him outside and just let him walk around in the garden, and something, he was to see a squirrel or whatever, he would tear off. And he would be so scared I would never be able to catch him.
Yeah.
So it would never enter my mind to go outside and just be holding him without a harness, with a leash, around my hand. And I've had a talk with quite a few vets about this too, and they're, they don't understand it either. It's truly for the safety of the animals. So I'm really troubled when I see this on social media, these attacks, and people are like, oh, well, they should run free and all of this. And I'm like, my site is about rabbits doing therapy work. They're working. They have jobs. And, we can't just have them running free at Children's Hospital, It just, it's not the way that it works. And so I struggle with, people's thought pattern on that. And I'm like, okay, are we, I guess we're kind of on like the forward cusp of what people are doing with rabbits and how they see rabbits. But I think that it's really sad within the bunny community that we have this divisiveness, and that we're all not doing everything that we can to see rabbits be living the lives that they have so much potential potential to do so much good. And something as silly as, something as basic as, leashing animals for safety, it should just be the groundwork. Like I said, okay, we put them in a pet bed, we have our harness and leash on, we talk about our game plan and, all of our best practices. Just like for best practices for a dog, if you go out and walk your dog, there's leash laws now because that's a best practice. It's the same thing for the safety of a rabbit. 100% the same thing.
No, exactly. I mean, I've seen rabbits wear harnesses, but I've noticed with dogs, at least with dogs, that over time they've changed it to where it just, it's like a harness. Dogs are wearing harnesses. They're kind of, it's kind of a little clip, like a little belt that kind of, clips in at their chest, and their legs kind of just go in it. And, so it's kind of like formed around their base rather than around their neck. And it seems like a lot of people prefer that. And if, the dog pulls, then there's no stress on the neck or the back. It's more so, you have the dog or animal grounded with the harness if you just kind of hold it there rather than, like, pulling them.
Yeah, I can remember as a kid, we'd go on walks after dinner, and my dad never leashed our dog, and, she would, she'd walk along real, he was good at training her and stuff, but she'd see a squirrel, and she would tear off, we'd go like, where are you going? And it's kind of like the same thing. It's, now I see him as a dog now, and she's always on a leash when she goes out to go to the bathroom or whatever, because God forbid she gets distracted and runs into the street and gets hit by a car,
Yeah.
It puts the animal in a whole different framework to put a harness and a leash on, but it also puts the owner in a whole different frame of mind when their animal is in a harness and a leash, and they're accountable for holding onto that animal and keeping them secure. In a pet therapy environment, they need to have harnesses and leashes on. They really do. But I think for the safety, like that for that poor family that, put out, we're in the backyard with our bunny, good for them. I mean, they are thinking, because rabbits can take off, or something can swoop down and pick them up, so good for them that they loved their rabbit enough, that they were mindful, they were there. This whole thing that rabbits should be free. Well, all that I know is that my poor little Mr. Moon would be running off and he'd be some, dog snack or something, which is the last thing I'd want to have happen to him. But if I've got control of him, he's safe, everyone's safe. It's just a safety thing.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Well, Jennifer, this was
I do know that some people do not agree with me, but I appreciate that you've listened. And
no, I completely understand your point. I've never come across it, so I've never really formed, like, in person. So I've never really formed, like, I just see it as a talked about subject. I haven't really formed, like, an opinion. I'm just listening to all parties to try to get an idea of what the big topic of
and at
debate
home,
is.
They're not in their harnesses, and they don't have leashes on because we're at home. So it's just like everyone else's, rabbit that they keep. So I can understand how they wouldn't understand it because they're like, why would you ever put a rabbit on a harness? But they're staying in the house, doing whatever they do within the house. I don't use it at the house either. Nobody ever gets a harness and leash on. But when we walk outside the doors of my house, we're ready. We're ready to be safe. It's a scary world for buddies out there. Let's just be really honest.
Yeah, it is.
It's a scary world for
It is.
So I want to make sure I'm holding on to mine very tightly.
Oh, I was gonna ask this earlier. I completely forgot up until now. What when the do you have like all of the therapy bunnies at home with you, or are there like different owners or fosters with the bunnies?
Yeah, so currently I own 8 rabbits, and all 8 are registered with Pet Partners. We hold 8 registrations for me and 8 registrations for my son Gunnar, who's my co-founder. And then we've added 2 of the girls from the University of Minnesota have gotten Pet Partners registrations with them, meaning that they get the liability insurance. And then we've got 2 more coming on. So all 8 live here. They live in like little rabbit houses in my basement. And so we have 3, each of them, we have 2 trios and a double that live together. And so, for example, the trios, we have 3 X-pens, so they have very large areas with a large hutch, and they're able to go out, and they have like 3 layers, 3 levels. My son took wood shop, so he built all of these things so that they can have like, playland in their spots. So they're super happy, and they live, quiet lives. And then, we go out probably every other day so that they get a break in between every other day and do volunteering therapy visits.
Awesome. That's really awesome. Jennifer, thank you for your time. It was a really,
Thank you, Randy.
No, I really appreciate your time. I'm really looking forward to seeing more pictures, more updates, videos, so, etc.
Thank you for your support.
Oh, no problem. It's no problem at all. It's a very good episode. Not just because I'm biased because I'm hosting it, but I think it's a really good episode.
Thank you.
And looking forward to Bunny Bestie, and I personally wish you the best in your goals for Bunny Besties, and I'm looking forward to seeing those goals be achieved through website and social media pages.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, and I will keep you posted on when this is, posted on our social media pages.
Excellent. And the reason I wanted to apologize for the email that I missed last night, Piper, one of my therapy rabbits, has got severe glaucoma and had her eye removed yesterday. And I was just like in a state of, I literally would sit by her cage and watch everything she was doing. So I didn't check any emails, so I'm sorry.
No issue at all. No issue at all. Not a big deal at all. No, I'm glad Piper is doing better. I saw that post, I believe, yesterday afternoon, last night, and that's good news to hear.
Yeah, it is good news, because maybe I have completely retired her, but there's people in the Pet Partners community, and they're like, she, with her disability, may be so inspiring to so many others, to be able to return to work. So we're going to kind of see how it goes, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed, because she was my first bunny, my first therapy rabbit, and started all of this with me. So I just hope she's okay. So thank you.
No, I'm glad to hear, and definitely wish the best of health to Piper going forward.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate the time to be able to spread the word about therapy rabbits, and I just hope everyone else jumps on the bandwagon too, with best practices, though. With best practices.
Of course. Of course.
All right, Randy. I will look forward to talking to you soon.
Okay, you have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much for taking the time with me.
No problem. You have a nice night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, sorry, drawing a blank there. I'd like to thank Jennifer Smith to my audience, and just thank her for a really good episode. It was really amazing stories on how powerful bunnies can, what kind of aura the bunnies have around them. You're in the area of a bunny and you're just kind of happy, and your whole mindset changes. It's just the kind of effect they can have on you. It reminds me of me recording my tribute episode for Milo, where I just talked about how much he affected my life. And for therapy bunnies to affect Alzheimer and Parkinson patients who, don't even might not even know what's going on, or could be in like a state of depression or a state of confusion, and for little bunnies to come in and visit and kind of change their outlook, even if it's just for a few minutes, change their outlook and put a smile on their face and bring them some joy. That's pretty special. I really can't sum it up any better than that. That's beyond amazing. Jennifer, again, is one of those kind of people that I love having on this show, where they go out of their way to personally... Jennifer is going after a dream, which I think is an amazing dream, but it's also like, you know, people think of dreams and goals as like, you know, not selfish, but as like a selfish goal. But this is like a goal of hers that reaches out and touches so many people. So I'm really looking forward to following Bunny Besties in the future. There are Bunny Besties on Facebook. If you want to check out their website, it's bunnybesties.com. I believe that's what it is, yeah, bunnybesties.com. If you want to look up any more information that maybe you thought you didn't hear on the podcast. Again, you could find the podcast previous episodes and this episode, of course, on youtube.com, on soundcloud.com, and on iTunes. Just type in Bunnyzine BZCast. Again, that's Bunnyzine BZCast. Type in those two words and it will come up, the previous 9 episodes and this episode. A very touching episode with Jennifer. A little over an hour. I was actually concerned about it being a little short, but, you know, because we went through some of the questions pretty quickly and she answered them, you know, great answers. But it ended up, you know, really expanding the show, and I'm really happy with that. Try to give you guys as much as I possibly can with every single episode, knowing that they're not super consistent. My goal is to have this show, you know, maybe on a weekly show at the very least. Some people have podcasts daily. That's impossible right now, but weekly, that's my goal. But as Bunnyzine grows, as you guys grow with us, and as you guys talk about us, and, you know, should be sharing our posts and subscribing to the e-magazine and subscribing to this podcast, consistency with this show will come more with that, of course. So my PBSA is my public bunny service announcement. That's what I kind of do at the end of every episode. Is not to not underestimate. It kind of ties into episode 9, my tribute episode. Do not underestimate what it kind of, and before I go into it, it kind of speaks to Jennifer's story about how touching rabbits can be. Just don't underestimate like what kind of power and effect a rabbit can have on your life. You know, like I said, patients that are sick with diseases that are, you know, beyond fathomable for a normal, healthy person. And for them to have that kind of effect, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, or, you know, that's pretty amazing. And if you have one, you know, if you have one at home, you know the kind of effect it can have on your daily life. I know people like to say, I don't know, I never personally read it, but some kind of study that dog owners, people just consistently adopt dogs, like live longer and are just relatively happier people, more positively, you know, positive people when they have dogs at home. And I can definitely see that. You know, you come home with people with dogs, come home every day and you have something wagging its tail and wants to jump up and lick your face every day you come home. I could definitely see that, but my point is, do not underestimate bunnies when it comes to that. You know, going like I'm about to do after I'm done recording and sending it to my post-production team, Kenzie Rivera. She does all the editing for the Bunnyzine BZCast. Quick shout out to her. She does amazing work. I will be hanging out with my buns and bunnies in each bedroom. They're separated still in 2 different bedrooms. But I'll be going in there and hanging out with them because I've had a long, not because I just want to spend time with them, but I had a long, rough day at work, and I just know that giving them a hug watching them hop around, even watching them just kind of sit. It'll just calm me down, and just put a smile on my face, and just, bunnies just make you happy. I think this goes for a lot of animals as pets in general. But, speaking for this show and speaking about bunnies, they just, they can just change your day, like instantly, like that. To where, and change your outlook on certain things in a more positive way. So just keep that in the back of your head when you're thinking about bunnies and you're just, oh yeah, it's my bunny at home, blah, blah, blah. Or there's a bunny that could be adopted. There's a certain kind of power that they have when you give a bunny, even if it's a therapy bunny, but even if you adopt one, and you bring one home, there's a kind of like bond and unity and comfortable. In their comfortable setting when they're adopted in their forever home. It's remarkable that kind of just a kind of relationship and companionship that a person and a rabbit can have together, and it just changes, the emotions on both sides for a person and a rabbit. And it's a beautiful thing. So, again, my PBSA, don't underestimate the power and the power of positivity. That's a stupid phrase to say, but the power of positivity and warmth and love that a bunny can bring to you by just being itself. If you guys would like to email me any questions, any ideas, any thoughts, I'm at bunnyzynecast@gmail.com. Again, that's bunnyzynecast@gmail.com. We are Bunnyzine on Facebook. We are at Official Bzine on Twitter and Periscope. That's at capital O, Official, capital B, Zine at Twitter and Periscope. Official Bunnyzine on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys go to bunnyzine.com and download November's issue, which will be the current issue when you guys listen to this. Again, it's a very special issue on disabled bunnies, so please download that. It really helps with Bunnyzine, grow. It really helps with Bunnyzine grow with downloads. And please don't forget about Happy Hearts Rescue. They're our featured rescue for the month of November. I almost didn't mention it. It is the 1-year anniversary of Bunnyzine. I've personally been a part of the team since a little before Easter, I think. A couple of weeks before Easter. Dustin kind of added me to the team in April. So I've been a part of the team. That's the 4th month of the year. So a little over 6 months I've been part of the Bunnyzine team. So and half the time Bunnyzine has been around, I've been part of the team. So I'm really happy. Bunnyzine almost ended back in May. And that's when Dustin started the Bunnyzine team, and we went in a whole different direction. And it's been going well. It's been going really well. We have a lot of goals that Dustin and the team, all of us, whatever there is, 25 of us, 26 of us want to accomplish, and to give you guys a better product as far as the Bunnyzine issue, as far as the website, and as far as the podcast. That's definitely my goal, is to make this, in any way possible, to make this podcast better for you guys. So, this will be coming out after November 1st. Happy anniversary to Bunnyzine, to the Bunnyzine team. Congrats, you guys. To Dustin, congrats on 1 year. Let's hope for many more years of e-magazines and special stuff on our website and BZCast, Bunny Podcasts, BZCast. Guys, please subscribe if you have iTunes or YouTube or a Soundcloud account. Please subscribe to the BZCast. It just helps with the popularity. Spread the word. Share the links on if you have bunny pages or in the House Rabbit group pages. Please share them. And that's pretty much it for me, you guys. I will, of course, always keep you guys updated on Facebook and Twitter when we have another recording coming up, and I'll let you guys, let you know who my guest is. Thank you for listening. Again, thank you again to Jennifer Smith of Bunny Besties. Make sure you guys check out their website and their social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, etc. They are on Instagram as well. Bunny Besties is on Instagram as well. You guys take care. I hope you had a good Halloween. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.